The government's influence, power, and spending is increasing. Many people are concerned about the government's influence on their personal and daily lives. Many quote from the famous Ronald Reagan, his saying,
"9 most terrifying words in the English language are, 'I'm from the government and I'm here to help.'"
But it's not just the conservative right that has tried to fight off big government. The left has also tried to fight back against big government. For example, we can look at Bill Clinton's 1996 State of the Union address, where he proclaims that big government is over.
We know big government does not have all the answers. We know there's not a program for every problem. No, and we have worked to give the American people a smaller, less bureaucratic government in Washington. And we have to give the American people one that lives within its means. The era of big government is over.
But with all the talk and fanfare, it would seem as though nothing is getting done. The government is not getting smaller. In fact, it would seem to be getting larger, and at a faster rate too. Just observing the debt increase alone, one can see the size and growth of the government. The debt is skyrocketing, and spending is getting out of control. Many younger generations are worried that the government won't be able to pay out Social Security when they retire, and all their taxes they had paid into the system will have gone to waste. These issues, along with many others, have been brought up by the economist Milton Friedman in his essay, Why the Government is the Problem. Milton argues that the government is inept, and the free market should reign. Throughout the essay, he reviews the government's many failed social programs. He blames the government for the poor education system, high healthcare costs, lawlessness and crime, high housing, and many other issues. For example, he states that the government's war on drugs has led to an increase in crime in America. Making narcotics illegal has led to more gang influence, drug lords, and criminal influence in big cities. Friedman remarks that why should someone care what another person is intaking into their bodies? We allow alcohol and cigarettes, but we draw the line at weed and other drugs? But even with all the government programs to stop these drugs, users still find a way to get their hands on them. Just like in the days of prohibition on alcohol, banning the substance doesn't get rid of it. All it does is incentivize criminal activity to produce it. Friedman continues by describing government programs as endless money pits. You see, when a business in a capitalist society fails to efficiently meet the market demand in an economically efficient way, it is forced to close. However, a government program which fails to meet its market demand or objective is not shut down, but most likely will petition for more funding. The government program will state that if it only had more funding, it could produce the results desired. What's worse is that those who are running the government programs also have a high chance of overseeing the budgets. So when there's a petition needed for more funding, there's a high chance that it'll be approved, no matter how inefficient the program is. Furthermore, many of these politicians have been in power for years, growing in their influence in government programs and expanding their power. The longer someone is in a political government position, the less likely they are to be in touch with the common worker, and the more likely they are to favor government intervention. And we can see this issue today. We have many career politicians, with some politicians being in political power for over 35 plus years. Some career politicians are Senator Chuck Grassley, Republican from Iowa, serving 43 years. Senator Mitch McConnell, Republican from Kentucky, serving for 39 years. Congressman Hale Rogers, Republican from Kentucky, serving 43 years. Congressman Chris Smith, Republican from New Jersey, serving 43 years. Congressman Steny Hoyer, Democrat from Maryland, serving 43 years. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur, Democrat from Ohio, serving 41 years. Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi, Democrat from California, serving 37 years. Long-term stay in high-ranking government positions can lead to corruption and a general disconnect from the working class. So how does one combat all of this? Well, according to Friedman, the quickest way to start combating big government is through term limits. Term limits can ensure individuals can't accumulate power and influence indefinitely. It will create a system that will always have new individuals in political power, giving way to new perspectives and ideas. If politicians can only serve for a limited time, the chances of the individual becoming corrupt can decrease. Furthermore, with limited time in power, it could create a sense of urgency and promote politicians to be more active and push the ideas of those they represent before they leave power. Because individuals won't be overseeing government programs for long periods of time, it could also lead to less government programs and more emphasis on the free market. Pushing for a smaller government is key for a capitalist society, and as we dive more into our capitalist series, we will discover the strengths and weaknesses of a society built on capitalism. The fight against big government is a never-ending battle for the capitalists. The loss of freedom, opportunity, and efficiency drives the capitalists to ensure the prosperity of the future.